they have and they're given to us. So thank you for joining us. I'm Train, one of the original co-founders here of the DAO that we envisioned, sitting around trying to figure out how we can help change the world for the better, moving from a fiat generated algorithm world held by the masses of government to putting the power back in the people's hands. So we're excited to be a part of L2. We're excited to help bring L2s to the masses, and that's you've read our roadmap, you've read our docs, you know what we're about. For many of you, it's probably the first time you're listening to me. I've been on a lot of other AMAs with some of our projects. I'm happy to see how large our community has grown, and especially happy that Weston has come on board. We've got a few other members here of the team. I saw Israel there in the chat. I'm sure he can hop on if he needs to for some answers. I don't see Benita in there, but as members come and go, we'll see if they can join in and answer questions. But kick us off, Weston. I'll give you the floor.
Why don't we dive right in then? Yeah, so I think that's kind of how I was looking to start too, is just kind of give an overview of, now that we've kind of built a pretty strong community pretty fast here, reminder as to what the vision is, and also just kind of touch on some of the progress we've made thus far, where we are with the specific implementation of different goals and stuff that we've outlined, and then answer any Q&A. And keep it 30 minutes maybe, and then some room for questions.
We'll try to keep it under 30 and then get some questions. I can ramble, as Weston has heard on me on several of our other AMA questions with different projects. I can get going and be going a long time. So
yeah, me too. You gotta shut us up.
Right. Of the L2DAO, what we were trying to do was, there are so many options and so many chains that are available, but we didn't feel like just picking Arbitrum or just picking Optimism or just picking Metis was the way to go, because we think each one of these chains is going to have a future role in the whole ecosystem within the blockchain and crypto world. And really, it's about empowering people to get on board and understand that there is a cheaper, faster, better way than Ethereum currently. And we'll talk about merge in 2.0 and whether or not what kind of effect that's going to have. And I think it will play a larger role in the continued growth of L2s more than be a detractor to it. But the vision being that there are going to be chains that specialize in certain aspects of the ecosystem. There are going to be projects and protocols that will come to fruition on one that will be needed on others. And we couldn't get behind the idea that any one chain was going to be the right answer. And for us, it was about how do we grow the ecosystem? How do we bring more projects and more devs and more degens to this incredible environment that we are at the cusp of the very, very beginning of creating an economy.
Yeah.
And
it's so cool.
It's a fascinating place to be, because we're seeing it. It's scary and yet cool, right? You've got the different rug pulls that have happened, and every single DGN has gone down the shitcoin farming. They've tried it. They've learned, okay, you can't do that. That's pyramid schemes.
Yeah.
The same thing has happened in the fiat world. We create rules, we create an environment, and we create what we have in the fiat world of regulation in order to protect ourselves from ourselves sometimes. And blockchain technology is going to get there. A crypto world is going to get there. And what the crypto world has said is it's permissionless. Do your own research, take your own risk. And that worked out well for a little bit. And now it's like, okay, well, we need auditors to go in and check the code to make sure that there's no backdoors. And we're slowly but surely building in these safeguards in this ecosystem that will continue to make it a better place to interact.
Onboard.
Onboard people. And I'm trying to get away from the tech terminology of real life versus crypto world, because as Weston pointed out, this is real life.
Yeah, this is my real world.
It's more about this being a new ecosystem, a new economy, a new way to transact and deal with our finances and interact with the public and interact with each other across the globe in a way that's permissionless and safe and well, hopefully safe, and allow transactions to take place that don't require the brick and mortar of a bank or a government, or it doesn't require a government to say, hey, we're going to put $7 trillion into the economy and deflate the value of what you have, or we're going to cut off this country because we don't agree with what they're doing. This allows the people who are often the victims of said situations to have better control of their finances and their assets, and to be more mobile, to be a more global community and more global citizen. So that's kind of the overset of where we were going. Is, boy, there's a lot of opportunity in crypto world and projects, and really for us it was about creating a DAO that was truly decentralized, that truly put the power in the hands of the members and said, hey, we got to get there. We want to get to the point in time where the votes are had, the treasury is managed, and all this is happening on a DAO level. But in order to do that, you've got a chicken and egg problem, right? So we knew in the beginning there was 2 of us, and then there was 5 of us, and then there was 20. And you've got to get the snowball rolling, and you've got to get to a point in time where you have enough collaboration and activity and participation that a DAO can actually work.
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen overnight. So we knew we had to get the airdrop out there. We had to create some excitement. We had to create the NFT. We had to do these things to reach the community, to bring them on board, and then educate and help create an atmosphere in which we could collectively dump information and be the resource for what's happening on L2s and where to go and what is a good project to, hey, I'm looking for a way to do transfer of assets without doing an open market swap. Hey, I'm looking for a place to do some lending protocols. I'm looking, and we want to be the answer for where that can happen and a good project to do it with. And
yeah.
So that's
like an educational component as well, right? I mean, not just community, but a useful utility for people to go, whatever they need to learn about the L2 ecosystem. This should be, ideally where you end up, because here's where all the people interested in it are.
So here we are now in short 5 months after we've launched. We've got some great projects that we've been underway. We were selected to get the OP token, which has kind of given us a nice ramp in governance, and we're in the midst of executing on that project. And we've also got what's coming up at Arbitrum with the next 2 weeks is going to get a little bit crazy. So we want to be a part of that attention and part of that economy. And so we've got projects left and right that are being thrown at us, and we're trying to make sure that we do our job of research and understanding what these protocols are, whether or not they're worth it. How do we expose the DAO to this? Do we want to expose the DAO to this? At the same time, still trying to execute on the OP incubator project, which is the NFT launch, which we've got some exciting things there that are going on. But we're still working on increasing our exposure and liquidity on Arbitrum. So there's a lot of things, and it's hard to kind of put it all out there all the time and not inundate everybody with a million different announcements of what we're thinking about doing or what we are doing. We have a number of community members that bring information or opportunities or questions and or partnerships, and so we try to honor those too, because that's the whole point of being a DAO. It's not just about what we as a team are doing. It's no, we serve at the pleasure, so to speak. And initially is it's a lot of our decision making, but that's until we can get to the point in time where we have enough diversity and participation, because that's what it's about. It's not about
that's what excites me. It excites me so much, like when I've heard you talk about that too, Train, just like the idea of decentralizing this, where we have hundreds of engaged, thousands of engaged community members, right? Collectively, leading the ship here.
Yeah, and that's the point. We don't want it. We don't want this to be the focus of the Weston show. Nobody wants that. So.
Weston doesn't want that. No. No.
And so we got that kind of encompasses the vision. I know some of our OGs are on here, and some of the people are new to the community. We've got our one of the questions that was put out there is what is the future of the NFTs that we've created, right? What's the early adopter OG NFT that we have out there, which there's still 40,000 or 30,000 NFTs that have not been minted from wallets that are eligible to do it, which means we haven't done enough work yet. We haven't done enough to bring those people out of the woodwork and really integrate them into the L2 community and let them know that, hey, there's something better to go. And we've got some exciting things for those early adopter NFTs. They are going to continue to be a utility for the DAO and a way that they're going to function going forward. So, it's not a one and done. We are going to use those for as we get projects that come in for whitelisting opportunities. That the OGs are going to have an opportunity there, or the adopter NFTs are going to have an opportunity there. You saw that with punk domains, and the release of when those were available. We're going to start with our originals, because I think that's a nod to, hey, you were here, you showed up, you either invested, you bought into the concept of what we're trying to do in growing the ecosystem. So yeah, those early adopter NFTs are going to continue to have a function in what we do. Now, ultimately, the DAO is going to decide whether that needs to set that aside and we need to move on. And one of the things that we said in our OP governance proposal, if everybody looks back to that, is we're creating another NFT. Well, the current NFT is also going to play a function in the minting process of that next NFT. And Weston has been working really, really hard on launching that. And we've got a great design going forward. And have we announced that yet or not?
No, not officially, but if I could figure out a way to share my screen, I could show a teaser.
So we might be able to give some sneak peeks to that, and I want to give a great shout out to our designer, who I believe is on here. Is he here?
I was just chatting with him. He said he was.
Yep, he's here. I see him. DeFi Candy is raising his thumb. Yep. So DeFi was selected to assist us in designing the NFT that's going to be used for the OP incubator. So I'm really excited about the work he's done, and I think it's going to be phenomenal. It's going to be it's just a cool project, and it's going to carry forward through the 6 phases as we integrate into OP and bring forward hopefully 6 great projects that we're going to allocate OP tokens to and partner with our L2DAO token as well.
Yeah, you did a spectacular job, honestly.
And one of the things that comes with that is we're gonna Weston's also been working with a couple of new partners. We saw Sperex got launched. We've got a new yield farm going, but we're also working diligently to create that contract for single staking L2DAO token, which is also going to play a large role through the OP incubator process, as well as future revenue share of DAO income. So that's another, kind of give you guys an update on what's going on there. We've got a lot of these irons in the fire. It takes time. We want to do it right. We want to make sure the contract is solid. We don't want to just throw it out there and then have what we've seen in the marketplace, which is exploits that happen and tokens are taken. So
yeah,
we definitely are not. We're not going to rush things to market. We're going to do things the right way, and we're going to continue to drive value and look for good partners and look for good growth in the L2 community.
Which is, I think, something also too that's really encouraging to me. That the community has actually appreciated that, as opposed to like trying to rush things out the door. We want to go as fast as we can, but also be as smart as we can, so we can protect L2DAO so that it's a sustainable, entity for a long time. So we have to be prudent. We have to be smart about decision making, but I guess I will say we have kind of cranked out some stuff as of late. So maybe for newer people, it might be helpful. I could go through just a quick bullet point too of kind of some accomplishments that are done.
Just a second. DeFi's raised his hand. I'm going to bring him on board. He has a couple things I think he wants to say.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Do you know how to do that here in Discord?
I'm trying.
We are not streamers.
Boom. Got him.
All right, perfect.
Waiting for him to.
Oh, you just got to accept. Yep.
He's got to accept it. Anyway, so yeah, we can. There he is.
Hey, sir.
Welcome aboard.
You're muted.
He's smart.
Uh,
He's
he'll,
got to figure out how to unmute himself before
yeah,
we can let him talk.
yeah. Oh, well, is it a setting that hold on,
No,
maybe.
I don't think so.
Yeah, no, I think he just is muted.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, well,
He left the stage. He doesn't have the ability to chat. We'll catch him next time. So
yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
why don't you line up a couple of things that we're working on and current releases, and then we'll head back into questions.
Yeah, absolutely. So, really wish I could share the screen here again, but I don't see any functionality for it. So, just hopefully my words will paint a picture. So, a big milestone, for sure that we've kind of been focusing on too is demonstrating leadership in terms of DAOs and how they operate, and that's something that for me personally, I am really encouraged to see the participation we had in the vote, in Snapshot. That's more than like the entire Rocket Pool has in their community voting. We had voters vote on, so it just it's the right group of people, and kind of I think that's where the L2 state of mind, like having that that vision for, okay, let's gather a community decentralized across the world and be a resource for each other. And so on that note, as far as tangible partnerships, so Sperax, which is another protocol primarily on Arbitrum, we've executed a token swap with them to align both the DAOs, as well as now have a live farm with live incentives, yield farming incentives on Arbitrum, and it's like I don't know, Trent, if you checked recently, but it was like 600% APR in the tokens. So, I mean,
it's currently still sitting right about that.
Yeah, so like if you like to yield farm, just take it for what it's worth. Yeah. Obviously, some people.
Yeah, we've got a lot of people that have staked originally in sushi, or they staked on their LP with Umami on the Uniswap V3. This is just another opportunity for you to utilize a different LP pool, and if you like their project, it's an opportunity to get some extra yield.
Yes, and then the other also really exciting thing too about Sperax that a lot of people may not know is that L2DAO is actually the very first partner chosen as they're launching their Demeter protocol, which is a farming as a service kind of platform, which will be going live on Arbitrum in the near future, maybe a couple weeks or so. So, like we got the honor, of being chosen to do that and lead that. So it's really exciting. We think Sperax is going to become kind of in their stablecoin USDS will become kind of the liquidity hub of Arbitrum. So it's a good place to be. If no other kind of points on that, I'll move on to a second thing is Socket, and also Bungee Exchange is what they actually go by. For those of you who know, we had Synapse Bridge and Multichain in place, but those were okay. But Socket is just the best tech ever, and they're our friends, and they helped us out, and we have now cross roll-up bridging fully live, enabled for L2DAO tokens. So you can go to Bungee Exchange, and it filters through all. It's like a bridge aggregator, and that's live. So, it's a huge deal to get in place, because it reduces the costs as well for our users. So I could leave that there too. Or any questions on that you think we should cover?
Well, if they've got questions, they can throw it in the chat, or they can throw it in, on Discord, or they can raise a hand. Do you want me to share a screenshot of that?
Oh yeah, you know what? Maybe that's a good. There you go. That's a good idea. I was gonna say I wanted a screen share, but yeah, screenshot. Or I have it. I have one. I can just do a copy paste in the chat.
Perfect.
Okay.
Do that in the chat so we can
show
a little bit of what we're doing.
A sneak. Yeah. No, this is great. And then I'll touch on the other two items, which are multi-farm, which we literally partnered with today and began work on, and the NFT updates and tokenomics. So
Yep.
here, give me 1 second.
So Multifarm is creating, helping to create the staking contract, as well as working on a dashboard for real time sharing of the DAO assets and investments and revenue, so that as we implement that revenue share, there's transparency in what's going on in the DAO. And the DAO has two platforms right now. We're both on Arbitrum and Optimism, and so that we've got those wallets there. We want to be able to provide a location that syncs that data, so that people can see what's going on. We treat this very seriously. That this belongs to the DAO, and our goal is to create an opportunity to grow the L2 ecosystem. This is why we started this, and this is why I think everybody's here, is they believe in the L2 world and what we're trying to create.
Yeah. Okay.
There it is. There's the first release. You saw it here first.
And so basically, what we have is L222, right? Kind of the theme. Hopefully, is pretty understandable from the visual, right? Defending DeFi decentralization. With the shield.
Just another one.
Another alpha leak. And then the wings, symbolizing, of course, layer 2 scaling, right? Scaling above the fray. So yeah, DeFi Candy just did an incredible job here, and we have all the traits, characteristics, everything ready to deploy for the 2022 total NFTs.
Different versions.
Exactly. Yep. And then also just finalizing the list of everybody who has, the Gleam winners, of course, but also the people who joined in here, the .L2, the L2 fam, all those, we've got, all you included. And then that'll be just tying the NFT utility into the staking contract of the L2DAO token, which is, I think, where, for me, the magic is going to happen.
So that gives you guys a bit of insight of what we're doing. I really do want to give some time to open some questions. We're now 25 minutes into this, and like I said, I think Weston and I could talk forever. Wow. So I'm going to open up to the floor. I'm going to look through the questions here. If you got a question, you want to come on chat, let me know. Raise your hand, and we'll bring you up. Otherwise, I'm going to dig through some questions. We have the ETH 2.0 merge. Do you want to address that? How do we see what is the benefit of the ETH 2.0 merge, and how is L2DAO going to participate in this? The merge is an interesting thing. We've been talking about merge for 2 years, and it keeps getting put off. And although I think it's going to be important to move from a proof of work to a proof of stake, and allow people an opportunity to lower the gas fees, I think there's a long road ahead before you see those drop tremendously. I think L2s continue to play a long-term role after the merge, and there's just too many fingers in the pie that are gonna. You got all these different forks that are starting to argue about now. Now, I don't think the forks are gonna. My personal opinion is I don't think the forks are gonna have a whole lot of weight going forward. I think the merge is a good thing. I think it's a good thing for the ecosystem. I think it will continue to be a good thing for us as an L2 community. We're going to continue to roll up to Ethereum. So I don't see us. How are we going to participate? I think it's going to continue to lower our costs. It's going to continue to lower gas fees, and things are going to get faster. I wish EXO was here, because he spends a lot more time in the dev world. I'm kind of running in treasury and running in business development. So hopefully next time we get EXO on here to chat about that.
Yeah, that would be fantastic, actually. And I was going to add, though, so how can we participate? So that's also been a big part of our discussions with other
Yep.
parties and partners, right? So, um, for those of you that don't know, there's kind of a well, there's Lido, there's different liquid staking derivative protocols like Lido, Rocket Pool, um, and we've been in talks with Rocket Pool about doing something pretty sweet, pretty novel, that may not be a possibility just yet, but is on the radar and has also garnered interest from multiple other parties as well. So that's one of the options in terms of, there's going to be many revenue sources for the DAO that come in. And then the stakers will be able to claim from those contracts just like a mini chef on a weekly basis. You just go to whichever chain it's on, Arbitrum, Optimism, and claim. And then holding this, I don't know if it was you, Train, that used the word, but like these 2022, these are like the the gems. The if you hold one of if you hold one of these, you know the value that you know of course there's always risk in anything, right? But the idea is that by holding this, you are going to have a significant benefit, both by just having one, right? It's cool to have NFTs that are things you stand for, but also economically, it's nice to have a recurring income stream from a pool of revenue, the shared revenue. So
Mhm.
uh, yeah, and I had one more screenshot here that it looks like I didn't post.
Hey, Vision, to address your comment on, what do we expect as the use cases? These are going to be especially important in the OP incubator project that we're launching in the on-chain participation and vote to receive OP tokens. As part of our case use case here is those who participate will have the opportunity, will get a percentage of the OP tokens that were allocated to each vote. And so if you have an NFT, you're going to be participating in the vote, you're going to get OP tokens. So that's one, it's going to open the gate to be allowed to vote on the OP incubator projects. Longer term, the use case of this, and not trying to steal any of Weston's thunder here, is this is going to play a role. This NFT, as well as the early adopter NFT, are going to play a role in the percentage of revenue share available to X token holders, the people who stake their L2DAO tokens. So longer term, the use case is it's going to be continue to be a focus for us as far as cross-chain utilization, cross-chain projects and whitelists, as well as an increase in revenue share availability.
Yeah, and really, aligning incentives. If you kind of go back to the proposal we had a couple weeks back now already, about going forward with this, right? V curve. Why is it done so well? Well, it aligns incentives. Same with saddles. Same with Ribbonomics, and there have been multiple projects that have tried to synchronize an NFT to their staking, but if no one's really hit it out of the park yet. And I think that we could, and I don't want to say like we're gonna, but I think that we actually have a chance, which is exciting to me because it would be the first, and again, back to leadership. I think if we can continue to demonstrate that, that's the goal. Okay, I found the other screen cap here of that is really sweet. So let me copy paste this here. So Multifarm, as many of you also may be aware, they build dashboards, analytic tools, and this will be directly into the UI, as a way for everyone to know transparently, what is the DAO doing? Like, how are we generating revenue, et cetera, et cetera. The visual will help. Just give me a second here. So this is just a render of like one. They sent a couple over, but as you can imagine, how useful would it be to understand how many people are staking, how many people are locking, where is the revenue coming from? What would it be like if I were to lock up my tokens? Does it make sense? And then if I hold an NFT, uh, do I get some sort of VIP or special boosty treatment? Um, I think that would have a big impact. Um, and I've got one more here. Let me copy paste.
So single asset staking, we are looking at. Do we have a launch date for that
Yeah,
yet? I
that's
know
what I'm talking
that's
about right
what
now.
we just. Yeah, so we just engaged Multifarm, and we are hoping. Best case scenario is probably 2 weeks. We're trying to get that down again, but we want to do it right. It's not just about being fast.
Right. Oh, was a question? Sorry, is there a question or?
Yeah. Yeah, we had a question from Rect in there on the chat.
Oh, okay. When are we expect? So yeah, exactly. So what's great too is the multi-farm team is super capable and savvy and smart, and they're fired up, ready to go. So I mean, they like these renders you're seeing, they already built these, right? So we just have to customize them for L2DAO and then deploy and integrate it with the NFT. So I guess that's a little bit of work, but it can be cranked out with with some effort. Um, so I think that kind of, again, with the goal being the L2 community that's fun for everybody, welcoming, right? A good place to go for knowledge, someone that, a place that you want to continue to check in, find useful, meet different people from across the globe, and share interests in ETH 2.0 or ETH layer 2, more aptly.
Right, nice
Yes.
Freudian there.
Yeah.
No, I think the reality being is this is where we collaborate, right? Both internally and
Yes.
externally. This is if you think about it, each person here has a center of influence within their circle, and they this is an opportunity for us to gather our information, to share that information, to help other projects on board, to reach out to other projects, to find good collaborations, and to grow the community. So it's
Oh,
not just about
yeah.
the DAO growing; it's about growing L2.
Yes, yes, and that brings up the other point is that I think we touched on this briefly, but the vision still, I think the creation of sub DAOs within L2DAO for different aspects of the overall DAO that that token holders can vote on, who they want to have elected for positions, and uh, we've seen that with a couple different protocols, like Thales, for instance, does this. Saddle Finance does this. Synthetics, but this goes from just being, say, a contributor to you can actually have an elected role on, like, say the marketing, the sub DAO, or the partnership sub DAO, or the community engagement. I'm just kind of rolling off the top of my head here, but uh, that's on the future roadmap too. It's just we have to go one step at a time, and obviously a lot has happened in a very positive way. Getting reached out to by other protocols is a good signal, obviously. In my opinion, so I think nothing but happy stuff on my end. But yeah,
Yeah. So
everything's underway.
meme threw out there as a question to Deeper, who posted at the very beginning, and I apologize we didn't see that. How do you plan to sustain the incentives of the farms and the allocated tokens are exhausted? One, we continue as we get revenue in, we continue to refill that pool with a portion of the DAO's revenue to keep those incentives going. But long term, we want to be very transparent. Is if you expect a 600 to 1,000% rate of return, you're shitcoin farming, and it's going to fail. Long term, that's just not sustainable.
Yes,
And
thank
so
you for
we
being
are
blunt about that.
part of the attention economy right now. We're creating LP, we're creating awareness, which comes at a cost. but long term, we do not see those as sustainable yields, and those will continue to come down as we become more and more established. Those yields will come down, and the trading fees will make up the most amount of those yields versus incentives from the outside. Other incentives will come in because other projects will want to continue to partner with us, and so we will see their token versus L2DAO token as additional bribe or incentive for us to be on their platform or part of their pool, which is the longer term goal for incentives, is to have less pressure being made from an L2DAO token perspective and having outside partners who want to partner with us as a part of that collaboration, providing bribes and incentives to those pools for token holders.
Exactly. And then also, you know, the again, the big thing to me is the ongoing sustainable revenue generation from, say, operating a node. Well, we don't need any emissions. You know, like if that's being split halfway between the treasury and stakers, you're going to continue to want that income claim every week, right? I mean, I would, I guess, but um, if we can build a strong enough treasury, we will have that flexibility. So right now, it's just being prudent in terms of making decisions, which, you know, I'd almost say we got kind of lucky with a couple things in terms of like the partnerships.
Being lucky looks a lot like hard work.
Yeah, that too. You know, we've been cranking it out. So, in the community, I'm just like I said, I'm thrilled on just seeing like the growth. I think it's like the 3,500 people in our Discord right now, and the Twitter handle crossed 7,000 just recently. Like the analytics are like off the charts. The guild is over 500. I mean, it's all positive signals. If I'm putting my research analyst hat on and had to evaluate a DAO, I would be saying like, yes, this looks good. So I'm just happy to be a part of it. And yeah, is there anything else that I like visuals that I could share that would be helpful, you think? Or is any questions too that we missed? I'm going back to see.
No, the last thing, you know, the suggestion from the node last time, and it was voted on, and he plans to implement it. You know, this is continuing to be worked on. It has not been shelved or anything like that. It's feasibility, costs, implementation, all of that takes a little bit of time. And with a lot of the other projects that we have currently in front of us, we're continuing to work through these in tandem. But no, that hasn't been shelved. You know, it's not cheap, and so we've got you know, a few other things that we've got to get in place to make sure that it's economically feasible and make sure that it actually turns a quote unquote profit for the DAO, and it doesn't increase our exposure or expense without requisite income to offset that. So that's the part where that is. It hasn't been ignored. It hasn't been shelved. We're continuing to work through it. I appreciate the question.
I'm driving through it, I'd say.
Yeah, no question.
I'm trying to get what the way I see it is that if we could get other partners, other DAOs to do this with us, that would be the most I don't know, DeFi statement, L2, just awesome, you know, collaboration that I think has ever happened in crypto. So that's the kind of the vision I see, and so I'm trying to round up these other protocols and
sure,
you know, get on board.
Well, with that, we're a little over 40 minutes now, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Doesn't mean that we can't continue to have questions asked in Discord, and we'll continue to do so. But I do have to jump, and I want to thank everybody for taking the time to be here and to ask the questions and to participate. This is what we're about. We're about participation, about coming in, about collaboration, and I think it's what will make us unique going forward is continuing to encourage that and to listen to the community. You know, we're not trying to operate in a silo. So
100%.
Keep the questions coming, keep the ideas coming, keep the collabs coming, and keep the energy moving forward. And with that, I think we'll sign off.
Yeah, that sounds perfect to me. I'll last words. Oh, you know what? Actually, so our friends at Saddle, I did promise I was going to try to do a joke.
Oh no.
Okay. Yeah. So are you ready for a joke train?
Go for it. What do you got?
What do you call an illegally parked frog?
I don't know. What do you call it?
A toad.
Oh,
Hey.
thank you for the dad joke. Yeah, nicely done.
Yeah, I've been trying to learn from the best, but I said I'm gonna be pretty bad at this. But anyways, yeah, that was it. So, thank you all for joining. I mean, it looks like we have 38 people in here, but this is amazing. And all the questions. So let's keep the momentum going. And L222.
Yeah, we'll schedule another one soon. All right.
Yeah.
Cheers, Joe.
All right.